Hello, Miss Sarah. How goes it? Miss Kelly? Hello, 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 everybody. How goes it? Trying to get everything set up here because I got some. I kind of got a little behind today. I was running, making myself a little crazy. How's everybody doing? Nina, me. Zane, are you with me again tonight? Whoo, I can work out here. Zane, Jody, and I are going to we're going to read your first series. What was it? I Know What You Did. That one with you and Jenna. That's our favorites. So we're going to read that in the spring. Nina's going to put that on her on my schedule because that's what she does well, and I forgot to remind her. She and I'll get with Nina and I'll let you know the date. But the one that I was talking about last night is the one with the two guys on it that comes out like in October or something. I want first dibs on reading that, please. But yeah, Jody and I were working on that. We're talking about that today, and we want to read that one. Please. And yes, I'm feeling good tonight. Feeling real good. All right. Okay. So how's everybody else doing? Anything good going on? Dragon Prince. I'm writing down all the different characters that I've got to do tonight. If Vincy is with us, she is going to love this. Me, I'm kind of like scared out of my fucking mind, but hey, what do I know? Lord, y'all, you should see what I'm twin. Okay. We good. Now let me go back out of that. So I asked the author, who I don't think is on here yet. I asked her because she said she was just getting home. I think that's who that was. Oh yeah. I asked her for a quick rundown of the characters how do I get, oh, there they are. Okay, so I asked for the characters and their animal because they're shifters, and she sends me pictures of all of her. Yeah. So anybody that's watching, this is how many characters I've got to do tonight. Vincey, I hope you like this. Hope I can do them. Okay. Alrighty, we almost there. Let's give it another minute or so. So, has everybody got a short week? Or those in the U.S., you got a short week? I guess everybody else doesn't, do they? Everybody else is going to be working all week. I get off at, what did I say, Nina, 2 tomorrow? And so, yeah, 2. And then I'm done until Monday. Yeah. So, is everybody hearing me okay? You guys are awfully quiet tonight. I don't like it when you guys get quiet. You scare me. Scare me. Are we ready to get this party started? Let's get this party. I had 11 at one time and now I'm down to 3. That just sucks. Okay, party getting started. Okay, so everybody's seen the cover. It's called Hunt Little Wolf, the Aurora Marelip series. I always miss that Marelip. Hey, Nicole. Nice to see you, darling. Yeah, I'm no Kai, so don't be comparing me. But I'm gonna read chapter 3 and chapter 14 because they're both about Aurora, and they really pack a good. They got some good stuff going on in them. There's our blessed author. Thank you for my rundown. Appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to start with chapter 3, and let's hope I can nail these voices. You guys might have remembered about 6 weeks ago, I think, I read Hide Little Wolf by Serenity, Rayne, and this is the sequel to it. And it's called Hunt Little Wolf. And then I think there's Serenity. There's going to be one more in here. Hey, Miss Jackie. So, if you remember, this is Aurora. She's the wolf. She's the wolf princess whose mom died while she was giving birth to her. She was raised by a bear and, was it a falcon? And she's Miss Sassy Pants. So, yeah, she's Miss Sassy Pants, so it's going to be fun. I enjoyed doing her last time, so this is going to pick up there, and I'm going to start with chapter 3. So there's been a little bit happen before this, but this is the fun stuff. So, eagle. I knew it was some kind of prey bird, but I couldn't remember which kind. Or hunting bird, prey hunter bird. Okay, so Aurora, chapter 3. Hunt Little Wolf by Miss Serenity, Rayne. Everything's right in my world at the moment. I just spent a full 36 hours in and out of bed with Jace. Whew. Yes, if you guys could have seen Jace. If you're nice, I might show you her characters after this. I definitely understand why his ex was fighting so hard to keep him. Hot damn, can that man move. And the things he can do with his tongue, holy fuck. Now, there are several things in my agenda that I have to investigate. First on my list is the rumor that Alexis tried hitting on Sebastian while I was at death's door. To find out the truth, I decide to hunt down my most reliable source of information in the pack. I approach Alina's house and there's an argument going on. Refresher, Alina is Sebastian's mom, also one of the elders of the tribe. I don't like people going against the chain of command. Let's see, I approach Alina's house and there's an argument going on. I don't like people going against the chain of command. Her word is my law, and to go against her is to challenge me directly. I don't even bother knocking. I walk right in the front door and stand behind the female who's yelling at Alina. I'm easily a head taller than this little firecracker, and I'm definitely built for war. Alina looks up at me and smirks. Apparently, I've arrived just in time. I shift my hands into my taloned gauntlets and tap the wall next to the female's head. The scent of fear instantly fills the air as she stares at my talons. I don't budge, nor do I say anything. She whips around and tries to stand behind Alina. I don't recognize this female, and that's a problem. I narrow my eyes as I feel my beast surge to the surface. Who do you fucking think you are yelling at an elder one? She is the pack master. I growl at the sentence while I stare the female down. All of a sudden, through the bond, I could feel the guys close in fast to my position. She bows slightly and then extends a hand out to me. About the same time, the guys barrel into the room. I'm Alexis. I'm the nurse that helped save your life. Recognition barrels through the bond, and I knew in that instant that the rumors were true. I stare at her hand, refusing to accept it. In that moment, she realizes that I know what she did. I thought you were going to die. I swear it. She's panicking now and searching for a way out. I'm having a hard time restraining my wolf, and the boys know it. They move as one and attempt to restrain me. Alina yells for the girl to run. Yeah, that wasn't going to save her, and Alina knew it. Reason 4,872 why I love my mother-in-law. The guys relax, which is a huge mistake. The second I know I won't harm any of them, I bolt out of the kitchen and run through the house. The hunt is on. I shift fully to my liking and give chase. I can feel the guys hot on my trail, but they won't be able to save her. Father, stop my mates. I'm hunting the bitch that hit on Sebastian while I was ill. I continue running, knowing my father will aid me in my quest for revenge. Nico reaches back out to me as I hear the roar of his dragon. Consider it done. And all Daddy Dearest has to say. I know he's probably putting them in an ice bowl to stop them. Once I realize her scent is weaker, I slow down. She's hiding somewhere nearby. I take in the scenery around me. There's a pond and a muddy bog, both of which can hide someone's scent quite easily. Out of the boys, only Sebastian's liking catches up to me. Apparently, our bond gifted him my talons. Aurora, nothing happened. She desired me, and I rejected her in front of everyone. Mother removed her from the house. I look at Sebastian at his words attempt to quell my rage. Then it dawns on me. She's hiding in the bog somewhere. I turn to face Sebastian and start backing up toward the bog. Oh yes, I'm going to turn Alexis into a bitch sickle. So you expect me to forgive her trespass? To forget she tried to take what's mine when I was unable to fight? How would you feel if a lesser packmate attempted to take me from you while you healed? I allowed Sebastian to feel the pain and anguish I was in over the fact that a packmate who knew we were mated attempted to take what was mine. Now, you guys got to understand when you're reading this, you see it a little different. All these words, all their speech is italicized, which means they're doing the telepathic stuff because they're in their animal forms. I don't hold back. No, not this time. They all need to know just how much I love them and the length I will go to defend my claim. Through our bond, I feel understanding, acceptance, and a flood of love from Dom and Jace. From Sebastian, I feel instant rage pulse through the bond at the idea of another male trying to take me from him. Trying to get more comfortable here, y'all. I have him now. His great black woven head lowers slightly. Do what you must, love. I wouldn't let the fucker live if someone tried to take you from us. I dip my head slightly to him before I sink my talons into the mud at the edge of the bog. I watch as the ice spreads rapidly across the mud and water. Eventually, Alexis is flushed from her hiding spot, the look of absolute terror on her face, adding to the excitement. My father and the twins eventually catch up to us as the ice begins to blanket everything. Frost clings to my fur, and in spots, small icicles hang off of me. Elsa, eat your fucking heart out. It's quite entertaining watching Alexis jump as she tries to escape the ice that's chasing her. When she's finally herded into the deepest part of the bog, I begin to walk across the ice after her, each step freezing the ice thicker as I approach. I simply crouch down, staring at her before I lunge at her. I open my great woven maw wide, taking her head into my mouth and crushing her small human skull like a cantaloupe. I howl my death song into the wind, alerting the pack that justice has been served. As I return to my mates, the ice slowly recedes behind me. In a sense, I feel better. One less internal threat to worry about. For now, everything is in the clear. Tonight, we feast and celebrate the return of my father. But before anything, I really need a shower and a toothbrush. We walk in relative silence back to the main part of the compound. I refuse to shift back to my human form. There are still things to be done. As we approach Alina's house, she comes out of the front door and stands on the porch. She smiles gently, noting that my snow-white fur is splattered with the blood of my enemy. Yep, okay. The Ferals need your attention first, Aurora. For everyone's safety, I fear some may need to be put to death. They may be too far lost to their animals. Alina walks with a single hand on my heavily scaled forearm like it was perfectly normal. For us, it was status quo. Mother, she can't go around killing every time things don't immediately fall into place. Sebastian has no trouble walking around the compound with his dick swinging in the breeze. He also has no sense of self-preservation either. I stopped dead in my tracks, feeling the frost creep across my flesh. I'm already shifted, armored, and in a rather foul mood. Is he seriously going there right now? Alina releases my arm and moves far away from what may end up being an impact zone. I turn my head slowly, a deep guttural growl escaping my lips as I stare at my lichened mate. He's really trying my patience today. He feels my eyes on him and freezes in place. For once, he actually looks scared as he assesses the situation. Bad mood, check. Already shifted, check. Talons clicking on scaled forearms, check. The look of actual terror on your alpha mate's face, priceless. I stand locked in a staring contest with him for what feels like forever. Eventually, he makes a smart move and averts his gaze and lowers his head, then exposes his throat to me. I huff out a large puff of frost before turning and heading to where the ferals are being held. Personally, I think I handled that well. I didn't harm my mate and I didn't lose my temper. I'll chalk that up as a win. After some walking, we arrive at the feral's pen. I call it a pen because it's a 10-foot tall electrified fence that keeps them isolated from the rest of the pack. Alina moves alongside me and looks over the last 15 that haven't shifted back to their human form on their own. I begin to pace back and forth along the front 30 or so of fencing. Let's be honest here. It's not easy to miss an almost 8-foot tall snow white lichen with dragon scales on its arms and muzzle. The ferals begin together. Most of them are smaller than I am and quickly break eye contact with me. Like always, there's one motherfucker that has to be difficult. He's a rather large male, but about the same size as Sebastian's lichen. The fact that he's feral makes me extra worried about allowing him to continue to live. As soon as I shift back to my human form, he attacks the fence and is hit with 10,000 volts. He flies back and lands on his ass before getting up to charge again. The stubborn son of a bitch doesn't learn after getting shocked the first time. I stand there watching him charge at me over and over until I eventually had enough. Let me in there. He's going to submit or die. Reluctantly, Alina opens the gate. Dom and Jace restrain Sebastian from coming after me. My father uses his eyes to hold the mail back so I can enter easily. As I walk into the pen, my shift comes quickly. In all these years, I can't remember a shift as fluid as this one. The male now notices I'm inside the pen and charges, so I evade him and slice his side with my talons. Honestly, I'd rather force him to submit than to kill. He's a rather resilient male, and to lose him would be a detriment to the lichen kind. I evade several attacks, slicing at his flesh as he goes past me. His blood is making his fur slick and lay flat against his sides, and the scent makes my beast want to kill him. One last charge, and I grab him by the throat, sweeping his legs out from under him, and slam him to the earth below him. Quickly, I nail one arm and grip the free arm to restrain him. Blood loss has tired him out enough. There's not much fight left in him. I growl in his face with my canines bared at him. He's fighting for control, and he's having a hard time keeping his eyes locked with mine. I press harder on his throat, still growling and snapping at his muzzle. Eventually, I say fuck it and dive for his throat with my teeth and begin to crush and growl. Suddenly, he shifts back to his human form and is crying and begging for me not to kill him. Between sobs, he begins to thank me for saving him from his animal. I snort a plume of frost before I release him and stand at my full height. My eyes lock on the remaining 14 lichen ferals in the cage. I stalk forward in full attack mode, growling and baring my canines at them. I'm hoping self-preservation will free their human from the hell they are in. One by one, they drop to one knee and shift back to their human form. I assess all of them, noting that they are all malnourished and worn out. However, after suffering for so long, the packless are finally home. I look back and Jace holds out a robe for me to put on. I motion for him to approach, and he moves to my side and flings the robe over my shoulders. Then I turn away from the ferals to shift back to my human form. Once in my human flesh, my gaze once again falls on the ferals. Pledge your life to me, and I will fight for you and beside you. We will return to our ancestral home and return it to the glory it once knew in my parents' time. I raise my right arm and show them my brand. My father, who's right behind me, also raises his arm to show off his brand. All at once, they swear their lives to me. 15 lives saved all because I showed mercy to... Perhaps Sebastian may be right. I pondered this odd occurrence for a bit. I step out of the pen and each of my mates check me over, making sure I'm okay. I smirk while looking at Sebastian. You were right this time, love. Please don't ever mess with my train of thought again before a possible battle. It may cost me my life one of these times. Doubt is a killer. I stand on my tippy toes and kiss his forehead, and he hugs me tightly to him, whispering he's sorry. We snuggle tightly for several moments before we're joined by my other two mates. I look over at my father, and he's smiling at me. I'm happy that he's proud of me and how I handled the ferals. I just wish I could be hugged by three mates and my dad look at me and go, "Aww." Gently, I break away from my guys and move to hug Alina. Actually, if you knew my daddy, he probably would. Please find them a place to stay and make sure they're fed. Before taking her phone out to call down the main camp, Alina nods and kisses my cheek. I turn back to the cage and look at the men standing there. Welcome home, my brothers. Please follow Alina back to the compound and she'll make sure you're fed and clothed. You'll be housed in the meeting hall until the dorm is completed. Take your time to get settled today and sleep well tonight. Perhaps tomorrow you can help with the construction, to find a purpose again. I smile after seeing how excited these men are with the prospect of starting over. This is definitely the difference between a tyrant and a benevolent leader. You can tell by the change in their stance that they have never been treated as if they have value. I'll be damned if any of my people ever feel worthless on my watch. My father approaches me once the crowd thins out, and my mates are escorting the new pack members home to make sure they are accepted.
You did well today, daughter. You choose to rule with your heart and mind and not just your talons.
Nico gives me a hug before we start heading back to the compound behind the others. We walk in relative silence as I'm tucked up under his arm, much like you would do with a child. It's fitting, really. I am his only child. To be quite honest, I'm actually enjoying having one of my birth parents around. Andre and Dimitri are great, but they're not part dragon or lycan. They did the best they could for me, and I'm forever in their debt. My right hand absently comes up to rub the implanted scale on my chest. Nico catches the movement and stops walking.
May I see it? I wish to make sure it took properly.
Nico tilts his head as he moves to stand before me. Slowly, I move my robe to the side so he can examine the scale on over my heart. Nico shifts one finger so he can touch the scale with his talon, and I watch in wonder as Frost coats the tip. As soon as he makes contact, Nico smiles, then shifts his finger back to human and touches the scale again. This time, no frost, just pressure where my father is touching.
Very good. Your body has accepted his scale.
Nico lets out a short laugh.
I honestly don't remember the last time the scale trading tradition was done. It's been several hundred years at least. I believe I was only a young boy back then. My own parents didn't share scales since their marriage was political.
I'm quite puzzled by what my father tells me. Why wouldn't your parents share scales? I had to ask. There's only so much he's able to teach me while I sleep. He whispers in my mind so the others wouldn't hear. Scales only live on true mates. Nico smiles at me and everything starts to click. My eyes widen and my mouth drops open for shock. Ladies and gentlemen, I have officially been rendered speechless. Nina, don't you wish that would happen to me? Huh? The guys have sensed my inner turmoil because they all stop dead and look back at me. I keep looking from the scale, then back to my father. Jace, who was sent to investigate what's happening, looks at my scale, then over to Nico. Realization dawns on him, and slowly a smile creeps across those perfectly plump lips of his. Ever so gently, Jace kisses my lips, then looks deeply into my eyes.
I'll love you like I'll love him like I love you. The others will just have to get over themselves.
Jace winks and kisses me again. He's the perfect mate. Then again, I think he secretly wants another hot meal to oogle over. I couldn't help but smile at Jace. He's definitely the most light-hearted one of my mates, and brings balance to my rage. Without warning him, I run behind him and jump onto his back for a piggy ride. I wish to take a bath. Take me home, love. Giddy up. I reach down and slap his ass, which makes him squeal and laugh. My Omega mate would move heaven and earth to make me happy, and my two potential alpha mates would rain fire and brimstone upon the earth to protect me. One protects my heart, the other two my body and my life. I wonder what role my dragon mate will play. Sometimes I believe that I see him in my dreams. It's so faint, so distant. I'm not sure it's even real. I lay my head down on my arm as Jace carries me home. I have a lot to think about over the next few weeks. So much to do, so many strigoi to kill. What's a girl to do? We return to the Alpha House, and Jace makes me comfortable on the porch swing. My idea of a bath long forgotten. He disappears into the house while I watch Dom and Sebastian supervise the care of the pharaohs and the construction of the dorm. Housing here on the campground was insufficient considering the size of the pack we're building.
Sebastian, make sure the dorm has
she's telling him. Sebastian, make sure the dorm has a central kitchen and individual bedrooms with bathrooms for the single males. Sebastian makes eye contact with me as he listens to what I have to say. Like most packs, the male to female ratio is completely screwed. Not many males are willing to share their females, but from what I can see, there are more and more menage pairings than before. Perhaps my guys and I are setting a positive example and breaking enough barriers that others will follow in.
Way ahead of you, love. I'm putting a gathering place in with a large TV in the central kitchen so no one feels isolated.
I smile and nod while listening to Sebastian. His idea will be a tremendous help as we integrate new members into the pack. These were his people long before they became mine, so he knows what they need far better than I do. Jace appears at my side with a tray of drinks and hands me my pomegranate juice with vodka. He knows me too well. I need a Jace. I have a little Jace. Not this kind of Jace, but I have a little Jace. I just need this kind of Jace. Please. Thank you. Serenity, if you could write that up in the story for me, please. Just give me a Jace. I watch my gentle mate go and offer our other two mates cold drinks before he comes back to sit with me. He sits on the far side of the swing and pats his lap, offering it to me. I quickly finish my drink and move to lay my head on his lap. Jace gently runs his fingers through my hair, working out the knots. Perhaps a nap will do me some good. After all, I've had quite a busy day today. I don't know how long I napped for, but I wake up feeling refreshed and with my head still in Jace's lap. I slowly roll over on my side so I'm facing Jace, and I notice that he's asleep, leaning his head against the back of the swing. He looks so peaceful. His face is so angelic and innocent. Slowly I rise from his lap into an outsider, but my pack knows that I watch over my mates closely. I rise from his lap and move so I can appreciate the handsome man before me. Yeah, it looks a bit creepy to an outsider, but my pack knows that I watch over my mates closely. They are my greatest treasure. For some reason, the word resonates with me. I brush the thought aside before going into the house to retrieve my favorite blanket, which I used to gently cover Jace. Once more, I go into the house and pull out my guitar and amp. I sit down next to Jace and begin to play Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here. Technically, it should be an acoustic set, but I'm a bit too metal for that. Dimitri used to play a lot of Pink Floyd for me when I couldn't sleep, so I guess you can say I get my love of music from him. Slowly the pack begins to together once they hear the melody coming from my guitar. I know there are dark days ahead of us, and I know the days of peace are limited at the moment. So I do my best to enjoy every second. Just as Sebastian and Dom approach, Jace wakes up. I switch it up a bit and start playing Metallica's Nothing Else Matters. Although I sing it for the pack to enjoy, it's more so meant for my mates. I make sure to hold eye contact with each of them. I'm not like Jace, who wears his heart on his sleeve. I hold my feelings in tight and protected. However, before this battle from hell, my men need to know and feel what I'm feeling. I play the song in its entirety, all 6 minutes and 20-something seconds of it. At the conclusion of the song, the guys swarm me. I feel the love they have for me, and I revel in it. I also fear for them with the battle to come. In the distance, I spot Alina and my dad walking hand in hand toward the lake. It's about time both of them find happiness. Jace is the first to notice that I'm staring at the hillside. He smiles and lets off a soft "aww" escape his lips. Unfortunately, his cute reaction draws both Dom's and Sebastian's attention. Dom simply shrugs his shoulders and heads back to work, while Sebastian looks like he's beside himself. He motions toward the hill and shouts, Our parents! What the actual fuck?" He drags his hand down his face, then looks to me to do something. I can't help but start laughing. I'm not bothered by them being together, but apparently my big bad almost alpha mate can't handle it. I give Sebastian a quick hug and a pat his back. "Don't worry, Bash. Dad's castrated, so there's no fear of any pups being born." I kiss Sebastian's cheek, then bound down the stairs and go for a walk to check out the new dorm the guys have been working on. I turn back briefly, and the look of shock on Sebastian's face is really worth it. Dom bounds down the stairs and jogs to catch up with me. He gently takes my hand as we enter the building, and he takes the time to explain the upgrades and little special features it has. It's everything I could have wanted for the single males and more: private quarters for sleep, a large living room, and an open kitchen design. I'm so proud of you guys. Everyone has done a wonderful job. I kiss Dom on the cheek as we finish the tour. Since Dyers are apparently quite well off, Dom and Jace had extra funds to go into the project, and all the planning fell onto Dom. We continue our walk back to the Alpha House. My throne has become the focal point of the main hall, and today I find flowers left on the table to the right of it. I can tell it's the children of the pack because there is a single flower from each child. About 9 or 10 flowers left for me. It brings a smile to my face thinking about how thoughtful these little ones are. We run into the house to one of the housekeepers, Anna, and her new baby Leah in her arms. I've never seen a baby before, so I'm quite curious. Dom looks at me puzzled.
"Babe, you act like you've never seen a baby before."
I remain staring at the little one, then I turn to him. "I've only ever seen them on TV. They never look this tiny." I lean down to sniff at the baby again, and its eyes open. I pull my head back quickly because I wasn't prepared for the baby to look at me. "Would you like to hold her, my queen?" Anna asked, offering her precious child to me. I look at Anna, then back to Dom, tears threatening to fall. "I don't know what to do. I don't want to break it," I say to Dom alone through our bond. Understanding flitters across his features. Then he guides me to sit on my throne. Gently, Dom takes the baby from Anna, then comes to me next. I watch in amazement at how he looks so perfect holding the baby.
Hold your arms like I am. Trust me, you'll be fine.
I mimic the position that Dom's arms are in, and he gently rests the child in my arms. I'm honestly frightened I'm going to accidentally hurt the baby. My other mates arrive quickly, sensing my anxiety and fear. They suddenly stop, watching me nuzzle the baby I am holding. Leah grips a lock of my hair and pulls hard. I can't help but smile at this little being's strength. She dares to pull the alpha's hair. I nuzzle her again and make a low, comforting rumble at her. I look up to my mates. My wolf and I in agreement. I want one. Can you guys tell I do that quite often? I immediately drop my eyes back down to Leah when I hear the thud of a body hitting the floor. Sebastian! Pass the fuck out. I guess he can't handle the day today. Way too many changes in such a short amount of time. The twins take this opportunity to approach and stare at the child together.
Soon as the war is over, we can have as many as you want, Dom proclaims.
Deep down, I know that's the smartest course of action. I keep sniffing and nuzzling the baby. She's such a miracle. Fertility is becoming rare among the lichens. To birth a daughter is nothing short of a miracle. I carefully shift my arm under Leah and pluck a single scale before shifting back. I look to Anna and hold the scale out to her. Give this to Leah when she's old enough to understand the boon I have given her. I will come for her no matter where or when. That is my promise to this baby. I lean down and kiss Leah's forehead before offering her to her mother. She is the first daughter born in a long time. She has my protection. Anna, practically in tears, looks from me to her baby. I have a gut feeling that she will be pivotal to one of my sons when they are born. I look up to see that my father and mother-in-law have returned. Apparently, they witnessed the whole exchange.
Child, are you okay?
My father asked softly. I know why he's asking. I feel the power of my heart pulse, my beast pulsing. She tapped into some part of my dragon's power that she can't access alone. I snuggled into my father's embrace and looked up at him. I held the baby and felt that she has a part in my children's future. I know it sounds strange, but my beast just knew. I searched my father's features for answers. A slow smile creeps over his lips and he nods slowly. Gently, my father kisses my forehead, then walks me back over to my mates.
The first time I met Dominic, I knew he would play a role in your future. Our dragon side is very intuitive like that. I suspect that once you mate with the prince, your dragon will still become better balanced with your lichen side. My father briefly hugs me before letting go. I walk over to prone Sebastian and decide to sit on his chest and stare down at him. Hey, Bash! Quickly, I poke his chest several times before I receive a response. He's still kind of pale, definitely looking off kilter a bit. What happened to you? Dom helps me off Sebastian, then passes me over to Jay so he can help Sebastian stand up. A quick look over and Sebastian is back to normal. Ever experienced deja vu? I mean, really experience it? I saw you were with a baby nursing on each breast. One with white hair and one with black. One boy and one girl. It was really fucking surreal.
I blinked several times looking at Sebastian, then back to my father. Nico walks closer to the group. I see Aurora's dragon side is gifting everyone with visions. It's a rather quiet, unique situation. The weight of my father's words hit me like a freight train. My hand flies up to the prince's scale on my chest. Gently, I rub the scale, tracing the unique shape of it against my soft flesh. I have been feeling a bit different since it was implanted in me. A little stronger, a little faster, but the biggest change I've noticed is that I'm not as quick to go straight to murder anymore. My gaze lands on my father and he's smiling at me. He raises his finger and taps on his temple. Apparently, I've come to the same conclusion as he had. My eyes roam over my mates, slowly assessing them one by one. Other than Sebastian, no one else has had any noticeable changes. I'll have to keep a very close eye on them. I love them too much to make them worry. Okay, that's the end of chapter 3. You guys see how long her chapters are? They're like normal chapters. So now I'm going to chapter 14, maybe. If I can find it. Yeah, I know, I'm skipping way ahead. But I'm giving you guys the good stuff. The meaty stuff. Yeah, I'm still like... I don't know, y'all. I feel good tonight. Okay. We're back to Aurora. And honestly, y'all, I don't know what's happened in between, so, because I've not read the whole book. I never get to read these whole books, y'all. I'm sorry. You guys are so funny. I have no bloody clue what time I went to bed last night. But shit, if I could get about 3 more hours of sleep and a giant pot of coffee, I'd be golden. I look at the assembled group in front of me. All of us were well rested and fed. None of us really know what we're walking into today. What I do know is that Alaric, and I apologize if I mispronounced that Alaric is quite anxious this morning. I raise my hand and start rubbing his scale, trying to soothe him like he's done for me so many times already. I feel him relax and I honestly think somehow he knows what I'm planning to do. It really doesn't matter though. It needs to be done. Without air support during the attack, we're sitting ducks. My Taco Bell's talking to me, y'all. I know my strengths and weaknesses, though. I don't think the boys completely understand how strong I truly am. And I don't mean physical strength. I mean strength of will, drive, and integrity. After everything my father showed me about attacking the dragons, I know their weak spot is their neck, especially if I can get up close to the head just under its jaw and sink my talons in there. The scales there are so tiny and spread out that it'll be easy for the tip of my talons to get in and start ripping. I just have to figure out how to land that fucker. I wonder if I can make dragon surfing a sport. Serenity, I just love you. You're just awesome. I better not say anything about that to the guys because they'll really start to panic. It's bad enough I slept in a twin taco last night. It's bad about that. Neither one of them wanting to let me move. I really do understand their level of concern, but if I have the opportunity, why not take it? Through my dreams last night when Alaric visited me, he said that he wouldn't be far away. I'm counting on it, but again, if more dragons than what he's expecting shows up, then dang, I guess I'm going flying. Either my father's going to have to launch me into the air or Alaric is going to have to carry me. That way I'll only have dive bomb. That way I'll only... That way I can only dive bomb off Alaric and onto the dragons below him. Either way, I fully intend to get the job done. Serenity, you might want to look at that sentence. That doesn't, I don't know, there's something not right there. Anyway, that fucking rat bastard Sebastian. I swear to God, if I see him, I am ripping his fucking head off. His head is going on my goddamn wall right beside his fucking mother's. Between the two of them, they have stolen way too much from me, and I will never forgive them for that. They better hope and pray that I'm not the one who finds them first, because unlike the others, I'm going to make it fucking painful. I growl as I work through my inner monologue, and everybody's head whips to look at me and see what... Sorry, something just popped up on my screen. I was like, what? They better hope and pray that I'm not the one who finds them first, because unlike the others, I'm going to make it fucking painful. I growl as I work through my inner monologue, and everybody's head whips to look at me and see what exactly is going on. I smile and wave and start to laugh. Yeah, I just had a Harley Quinn moment. Oops. I find my twins standing together and talking by the fire. Gently, I touch Jace's shoulder and get him to turn to me. I kiss him deeply and passionately, making him growl. His fingertips dig into the meat of my ass as he lifts me off the ground. I smile against his lips and whisper, I love you. He returns the passionate kiss and tells me he loves me too. Slowly, Jace lowers me to the floor. I don't even have both feet on the ground before Dom twirls me around and aggressively kisses me. Damn, I love when he tries to get all dominant with me. I growl and bite his lip before I start giggling. I whisper against his lips, I love you. In no way am I saying goodbye. In my mind, I'm just making sure they know they are loved. Hesitantly, Dom lowers me to the ground. I smile at both my mates before I head off to find my father. When I find him, he's in deep discussion with Dimitri and Claus. I run my fingers up Claus's back as I pass him on my way to my father. Claus makes a soft growl in the back of his throat. I stop and turn to look at him. His wolf's eyes are beautiful. They're a pale gray in color. I break eye contact and move to my father and hug him tightly. I'm not sure who needs it more, me or him. Gently, I place a kiss on my father's cheek and tell him I love him. In turn, my father kisses my forehead and tells me he's proud of me and loves me. Just to fuck with Dimitri, I go to Claus next to hug him and kiss his cheek. I thank him for coming to our aid, and being there for me. He smiles at me, then gently kisses my cheek. Claus's hand slides through my hair, my long snow white hair, his smile radiating affection. Does he wish for more than just my allegiance? It doesn't really matter now. Sebastian's false bond won't let me find my true mate. I break away from Claus and move toward Dimitri. Dimitri appears nervous, which isn't like him. If you guys remember, Dimitri is the bear guardian that raised her. So, he's like daddy number 2. Big brother, I move slowly toward him and circle around his figure, looking him over. He's definitely a handsome man. His shoulders are so broad and thick, and I can't help but run my fingers over them. Dimitri's frame tenses the minute my fingers make contact with his shoulders. It's not fear that makes him tense, so what could it be? When I move to stand before Dimitri, he's not looking at me like he normally does. That fatherly look of adoration is gone. Now his hazel eyes move over my frame, almost caressing my flesh. Quickly, my eyes dart to my father, and he just smiles at me. I seek out the twins, and they're smiling too. What the fuck is going on around here? And that's exactly what I'm thinking in my head, Serenity. Bitch. What are you doing to me? I start to back up, and Dimitri wraps his large hands around my elbows to stop me. I stare at his hands and notice how gently they grip my arms. I draw in a deep breath and look up to meet his eyes. Dimitri slowly raises his left hand to cup my right cheek, and I lean into his touch. Aurora, he says in his deep, husky voice. I can't help but feel like my insides are on
fire with the way he's looking at me. Your father and I suspect that Alina casted a spell to keep us apart. We believe she used blood magic to stop our bond from forming. Dimitri gently rubs my cheek as his eyes beg me to understand. I stop breathing the moment everything Dimitri says clicks. Frost begins to spread from the spot that I'm standing and starts to coat the entire cavern. I wasn't crazy. My wolf was right. I start crying. I can't help it. The tears float and sink. Now I'm going to have to read this whole thing, Serenity. Damn you. I think I read your other book, the whole thing. I can't remember how it ends, though, so I'm not sure if I finished it. But I remember the car chase and all that. The tears flow freely down my cheeks, and all I can do is stare up into Dimitri's eyes. I have loved this man before me for the better half of 100 years. All that time I thought I was insane. That my wolf was wrong and tricked by the binding. Dimitri quickly pulls me flush with his chest and holds me tightly. I feel the rumble of his bear in his chest and trying to soothe me like he used to. I push back lightly so I can look back up at Dimitri again. I swear you will have Alina's head. I will give it to you. I feel my canines descend and my eyes churn to liquid mercury. Dimitri chuckles just before he kisses me on the lips for the first time ever. I can sense Jace and Dom approach, but they don't interfere. My hands slowly side up Dimitri's broad chest, and I rest my palms on his cheeks and hold him to me. I can feel him smiling mid-kiss. Then I slowly pull back to look at him. Kill the witch, break the spell. Easy enough. Then off to storm the castle. Poor Dom face palms again and complains it's not going to be that easy. I tilt my head to the right and give Dom the middle finger. I start to turn away from Dimitri before I make my announcement. I am the Poke Master. I collected them all. I scream all because Dimitri slapped my ass hard. Quickly, I spin to face him as I rub my poor ass cheeks. Remember, Princess, you collected the others. I've been right here waiting for you. Dimitri's dominant attitude is kind of a turn on, and I start laughing as I look at him. He went all cheesy on me by quoting one of my favorite 80s songs, the Richard Marx song about the guy waiting for his love to return. Damn emotional wolf. Fucking tears start rolling down my cheeks. What the fuck? I'm starting to turn into a freaking wuss. I roughly wipe the tears away, then look to the pack, who's trying to act like they didn't see anything. We leave in 10 minutes, so be fucking ready. I head off to my part of the cavern. I can still hear the guys congratulating Dimitri. I slowly turn around to look at him, and he has a giant grin on his face. I haven't seen him smile so much in so long. He deserves to be happy. Several moments passed, and I decide it's time to shift. Quickly, I consume the last of the rations I hoarded away for myself before I head to the gathering point. We have our marching orders from Nick, and we break off in our assigned groups to head towards Siberia. Because everybody wants to go to Siberia. The larger one of the two Diomed Islands separates our forces. I feel Lyric's anxiety spike just as our group passed the second island. I clamber up on my father's back and start to watch behind us, keeping an eye out for enemies, knowing those sneaky scumbags they'll attack from behind. Through the pack link, I order the group to converge and form a circle. Once everyone is in place, we have eyes in all directions. What we didn't account for was a red wyvern swooping down to snatch me off my father's back. Stupid move grabbing me. The wyvern continues gaining in altitude. I'm guessing it's planning on dropping me. Without warning, I reach up and cut the tendon on one foot. Once it loses its grip on me, I reach up and grasp onto the remaining foot.
With my free hand, I slash his exposed abdomen. The wyvern screams in pain as I continue to rip. In the distance, I sense Alaric gaining ground. He should reach me once I start to fall. Now I grip both legs of the wyvern and hold on tight. It's only a matter of time before it bleeds out. In my head, I start singing Limp Bizkit's break stuff. It seems quite appropriate right about now. Suddenly, the wyvern starts to fall from the sky. I use my talons to climb up onto its back and hold its wings open to slow our descent. I feel Alaric before I see him. His giant talon dragon hand comes down and gently grips me, and I release my hold on the wyvern's corpse. I gently rub my muzzle on Alaric's scales as he carries me. Then I notice he has a group of dragons flying with him in formation. Once the wyvern corpse reaches the ground, we watch it take out some of the enemy's Lycan forces. Yes! 2 for 1. Alaric's nestmates break off to fight the remaining wyverns. We gain speed as we approach a black dragon. This thing is fucking huge. It dwarfs Alaric's dragon. I pat his hand to get him to drop me on the monster's back, but his dragon only shakes his head no at my ideal. Through the bond, I push my plan to him. Hopefully he sees it's the only way to take out the acid-breathing monster. I can hear him huff before he changes course. Honestly, I can't believe I won that discussion. He aligns himself over the center of the black dragon's back. While a small gold dragon keeps him occupied, I drop down from 20 feet above. The black dragon keeps circling the battle below, yet he's not interfering. Ever so carefully, I walk along the spines on his back, making sure to remain on his armored plates. In the back of my mind, I start humming the Mission Impossible theme song. This dragon is much larger than I was anticipating. I start to get concerned when I notice missing scales at the base of his skull. Mentally, I reach out to my father, and he confirms that what I'm thinking. Dig quickly and sever the spinal cord. Alaric and his group is close, making sure no one gets close to me. When I feel the time is right, I sink my talons into the exposed flesh. The black dragon roars and starts to whip his head from side to side, trying to shake me off. I hold on for dear life and sink my talons into his skin as I wedge myself between his spines. He stops whipping his head around, so I go back to the attack. I rip out several more large chunks before he starts thrashing his head around again. My once white fur is now covered in blood and flesh chunks from the black dragon. This is getting irritating. Every time I start getting somewhere, he starts thrashing. Good news is that I can see 2 decent-sized blood vessels and a vertebrae. As the thrashing slows down, I lunge quickly and easily slice through one of the blood vessels. Blood goes everywhere. It covers me as well as the dragon scales. His blood is coagulating almost the second. You guys can't believe I said that word, can you? Actually, I'm pretty used to it with a medical background. Thank you very much. Is coagulating almost the second it hits the scales and me. I'm a big, gloppy, blood-covered mess. The only bonus to this gory mess is that he's slowly losing altitude. The dragon's roars are getting weaker and he's not thrashing as hard. Seizing the opportunity, I sever the second blood vessel. I feel as though I am swimming in a sea of blood. I have to sink my talons deep into his flesh just to keep from sliding off. I carefully move to stand after I notice the ground is approaching fast. Thankfully, he's headed right toward his own reinforcements. I grab onto the crown of his horns that adorn his head and brace for impact. Just as I sense the impending crash, I jump up to lessen the blow to my body. The black dragon's body slides for several hundred feet before stopping. I jump off the dragon's corpse quickly. Alaric's dragon lands close by and watches me carefully. I'm cold, wet, and feeling gross. The blood in my fur is coagulating and freezing at the same time. I can't shift to my human form or else I will turn into an ice cube. Alaric lowers his massive head to my level and starts blowing his hot breath on me. I'm just thankful he has enough sense not to try his flames on me. One great wing comes forward and shelters me from the wind. There's a war going on about 2,000 feet from us, but Alaric's only concern is my health and well-being. After about his fifth or sixth heated breaths, I'm defrosted and the blood chunks have started falling away. I rub my muzzle against his dragon nose and then I lick it affectionately. Alaric forgets his strength when he tries to nuzzle me back. I ended up on my ass in the snow, shaking my head at him. If a dragon could look sorry, he was doing it. I dust myself off and start walking back to the battle. Apparently, I'm not allowed to walk anymore because Alaric's dragon scoops me up, flies me over to my father, and drops me on his back. With my arrival after the Black Dragon crash, the remaining forces retreat quickly. Without a second thought, I leap off my father's back and give chase. My mates come up alongside me as well as the rest of the dire wolves. One by one, we hunt down and slaughter the remaining polar bears and lichens. The only unanswered question I have, where the fuck is Sebastian? I stand there and watch as the last of my enemies fall around me. All this bloodshed, and for what? The polar bears didn't need to die. They were lied to and misled. The lichens that fought, I wonder which pack they were from. I stand here in the middle of the tundra and surrounded by corpses, and all I can think about is the pups back in America. My father's dragon comes up behind me and bathes me in his blue flames. All the dirt and grime from the day is gone. I nod my woven head at my father before I start walking. Alaric's dragon lands before me and opens his taloned hand, revealing a wooden box. I tilt my head left and then right, studying it. Carefully, I use my talons and open the box. Within it is clothing, a heavy coat, and boots. I look up at Alaric and motion to his wing. Taking the hint, he drops both of his wings to block me from the cold winds. I get dressed quickly in the clothes provided. My gloved hand lightly touches Alaric's wing, and he lifts it. The clothing he picked out for me fits beautifully, and I step out looking like a princess for the first time in my life. The twins and Dimitri come to stand before me. I gently rub my face along their muzzles. Alaric and I are going to fly to his summer chalet. I'll look over to my father, and his dragon is smiling. Well, he's showing his teeth, so I assume he's smiling. I know you remember where the chalet is. Please lead our forces there. Nico nods his great dragon head and roars, assembling the troops. They turn and start heading south as they follow behind Nico. I look back to Alaric's dragon, and he lays down in the snow and extends his wings carefully. Carefully, I step onto the scaled bone of his wing and begin climbing toward his back. Once on Alaric's back, I remove my glove and press it to his scales. Where should I sit? I look around the dragon's back, puzzled. I'll lower my head, sit directly behind the ridge of my horns. It should protect you from the wind. That was all mental. I look toward Alaric's head where he indicated. He turns his back so his head is close to his back. Carefully, I climb onto his neck and then move to sit behind the ridge of his horns. It's a perfect fit for me, and I feel safe and secure where I'm sitting. I pat Alaric's neck, and we take off. It's interesting sitting here with a dragon's eye view of the world around me. I shift my eyes to that of my beast, and I get to see the world how Alaric sees it. Everything looks so amazing up here above the clouds. It looks like we are flying over a field of cotton balls through the bond. Through the bond, I can feel that my joy from flying with him pleases him and his dragon. Carefully, I reach down and start scratching at his scales under the horn ridge. Serenity, should I have read this chapter? I'm just thinking of something, and I'm thinking maybe this wasn't the one I was supposed to have read. But I will. I'm there now, huh? Through the bond, I can feel my joy from flying with him pleases him and his dragon. Carefully, I reach down and start scratching his scales under the horn ridge. It seems like there's a buildup of dead skin in some spots, so I carefully remove it. I keep working on his scales while I'm back there. Soft rumbles can be felt from his dragon as I preen his scales. I know I love the feel of my father's fire through my fur, so I assume Alaric is enjoying the attention. In the distance, a castle on a cliff face comes into view. It looks like it stepped right out of a fairy tale. Oh, I know who that is. Oh, there I am. Without warning, 2 gold dragons flank us. I shift my arms and hands quickly, right, ready to fight. Through the bond, I hear Alaric's voice. Settle, my love. It's my mother and sister escorting us home. His words offer me a little comfort and reassures me that we're safe for the moment. However, I have trust issues now, and it's hard to relax when I'm surrounded by strangers. Love, my life is tied to yours now. I would never put our lives at risk. I have too much to live for now. Without a second thought, I shift my hands back and rub his scales. I attempt to relax and enjoy the remainder of our flight to his castle. The castle is one of that you should expect to hear about in a fairy tale novel. Tall spires adorn the 4 corners, and a tall wall surrounds the main structure. We fly in lazy circles, gliding on the thermals around the castle grounds so I can get a good look at his home. I can tell he and his dragon are very concerned if I approve of their nest because his anxiety is spiking. I gently rub his scales. Your nest is beautiful. Can we land so I can get a better look at you and your home? No sooner do the words leave my mouth than his dragon banks and lands softly in the courtyard. Alaric lowers his head, allowing me to slowly slide off his neck to land on his foreleg. My hand rests on his dragon's cheek as I step down. Once I'm safely on the ground, he sits up and spreads his wings and roars. My inner beast steers at his call, and I feel compelled to howl along with him. We roar and howl several times until my human throat is sore from the effort. I smile up at him and shake my head as I laugh. His large dragon head lowers to my level. When I'm this close, I notice the blues mixed in with the white. His scales also slightly change color depending on the angle I look from. Alaric stands perfectly still as I continue to touch his scales and look at his dragon form. His large golden serpentine eye follows my movements. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice movement off to my right. I quickly duck under Alaric's lowered wing. I remain firmly pressed against his body, slowly working on climbing up his leg to get my feet off the ground. Alaric's dragon huffs, and I guess he's laughing for some reason. I remain perched on his leg directly under his wing, where his wing attaches to his body. If he chose to stand up right now, I would surely fall. A woman's voice reaches my ears, and I start to growl, not happy another female is near what's mine. Slowly, Alaric lifts his wing and turns his head to face me. I stare into his dragon's eyes, my own turning liquid mercury. Every move I make, Alaric mimics. My love, mother wishes to meet you. That's the female you heard speaking. No threat, I promise. Alaric's voice echoes in my head. See, if I was really good, I'd have a Russian voice with that, but I'm not that good, y'all. And isn't it a Russian? Shouldn't he have a Russian voice to him? Alaric's voice echoes in my head. I gradually calm down and nod to him. I slip carefully back to the ground and straighten my hair out. I draw in a deep measured breath, and make sure my eyes are back to normal. I adjust my stance to how Dimitri told me I should carry myself at court. My hand rests at Alaric's side just before I step out from under his wing. His mother is a vision of beauty. Her hair is long like mine, but it is the color of spun gold. Her skin is the most perfect of porcelain, with lips the color of blood. She rushes forward and embraces me tightly. My look of apparent panic causes Alaric to make a rumbling noise, which gets his mother to back off.
I'm sorry, my dear. I never thought my boy would find a mate. When he said it was you, I just couldn't contain myself. Oh, where are my manners? My name is Catherine. I guess you could say I'm queen of the Ice Dragon Court. She smiles while looking at me and slightly bows her head. Two men come forth, one with clothing and the other with a dressing blind. The men start to herd Alaric's dragon to an alcove close by. I watch the men for a moment, then turn my attention back to Catherine. I move the ripped sleeve of my coat and show her the royal mark on my forearm. I'm Princess Aurora Marlett, last of my name, first of my kind, future queen of the Lycan Pax. I curtsy to the queen, and she returns the gesture. Her hand gently comes out to touch my hand. I knew your mother. She was such a kind and caring soul. But God's help you. If you crossed her, she was downright ruthless. Catherine smiles as she speaks about my mother. It warms my heart to know someone besides my father and Dimitri is left alive that knew my mother. I smile and laugh a bit. I have a lot of my mother's tendencies and my father's black or white view of the world, though thankfully I have a much better grasp of technology than he does. I watch his mother's visage pale considerably when I mention my father in the present tense. I straighten up my stance a bit more. My resolve is hard as steel. I rescued my father from the dire wolf camp in the Nankoweap ruins. Apparently their alpha, who was the beta in my mother's time, chopped off his left arm and took him hostage. I tilt my head left and right, assessing her reaction. Before I could speak again, Alaric wraps his arms around my waist and kisses my cheek. My father should be here tomorrow with the rest of my troops. That's not going to be a problem, is it? I watch my scales ripple across my hands, then recede just as fast. My eyes lock on Alaric's mother's eyes. There's a definite fear there. Catherine begins to pace in front of us before she turns and looks at her son. Alaric, you know what this means for all of us. Tears are threatening to break free from her eyes. Catherine's flesh flushes from the effort of trying not to cry. Alaric kisses my cheek, then locks eyes with his mother's. I do. It means Dad isn't the rightful king, and we no longer hold any title. Nicodemus was next in line for the throne, but with him not wed to another dragon or dragon kind, he cannot sit upon the throne in the capital. Aurora, however, can and will sit upon the throne. She is dragon kind and my mate. If Aurora allows it, I wish to wed her before we dethrone father. I watch Alaric talk to his mother. It feels very surreal, like I'm watching some reality TV show. I have a prince who's really not a prince, who wishes to be my husband and mate. I turn to Alaric's arms and look up into his hazel gold eyes. Make the preparations. As far as my father is concerned, he will see the value of having not only our mating, but our marriage to solidify the alliance between the Lycans and dragon houses. I stand on my tippy toes and kiss his lips. Besides, I think you'll look pretty damn fine in dress clothes. I feel my father reach out to me mentally, and I bring him up to speed. Alaric's grip on me tightens as I widen the connection, allowing both of them in on the conversation. I personally suspect anyone who gained power after my mother's house fell
Both my father and Alaric agree. I'll look at Alaric's mother over my shoulder, and my dragon-slitted mercury orbs frighten her some. Father says hi, and the wedding will happen tomorrow at dusk. The dragon star is at the apex tomorrow, and he wants it to bless our union. Plus, it's my birthday. His mother's fear is clearly visible. She's shaking, which proves to me that she knows something about the attack. Alaric, love, please show me to our chambers. I wish to freshen up. Alaric studies his mother's reaction to what I said before he leads me off. The end of chapter 14 and all that I'm reading tonight. So now I've got to finish this book. Actually, I need to go make sure I finish the other book so that I can finish this one. Oh, Serenity, you're killing me. All right, how'd everybody like it? Whoop, 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 whoop. Serenity, was that the chapter you expect? That's not what you wanted me to read, was it? You wanted me to... I thought that's where they met. Is it not? I just don't even know. So, it is out. It is... How much? Just tell me how much, Serenity, because I'll screw it up if you don't. You guys like it? You like it? You like it? Well, Serenity, you want me to read where Alaric and Aurora met? And I didn't think they met to the end from what but I scanned it. I didn't read it. I just scanned it because I didn't want to read too much. $2.99. Is it on KU? Yep, free on KU. Whoop, whoop. I think that's where I got mine, or did you send it to me? I don't even know. It's free on KU, and it's only $2.99, and well worth it. So, everybody go get it tomorrow night. You know this little annoying critter that I have allowed into my nook named Nathan Colston? Well, lo and behold, he's a damn good author, and I'm going to read his book tomorrow night. So, you guys just, you guys be here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. If you're in the kitchen cooking, just turn it on and set me over in the corner and turn me up. Tomorrow night shouldn't be, it's not got a lot of language and stuff in it, so it's kind of a teenager safe. It's not gonna be bad. So I know one chapter I'm reading is really good. I haven't decided what other scene I'm going to read because I'll listen to this book excuse me, y'all, it's my bedtime. Dang, I only read 2 chapters and I read an hour and 20. What the hell, Serenity? Damn. Alright, I'm out of here. You guys have a good evening. Happy reading.